Okay, right. The next one. If a large number of samples of size n, don't know what n is, are taken, from a distribution that follows the Poisson distribution, 2.5, and about 5% of the sample means are less than 2.025, what do you think you've got to do?
Find the probability that you win a game.
No. You've got to find n. Okay. So this is like a backwards question, I suppose. Okay. Well, you've actually got a probability here, and you've got a value. You know you're dealing with sample mean, so that should be ringing Bell's central limit theorem. And you've got to find out what n is. And we're starting off with a Poisson distribution. So we'll say x follows the Poisson distribution, 2.5. That's a good starting point. That's using information we've got. But this question is talking about sample means. So the question is talking about x bar. How will x bar be distributed?
Is it 2.5 times 5%?
Well, hang on. We need two things here. We need, it will be normally distributed. Normally distributed, x bar always is. What's the first thing that goes in the bracket here? The mean. What's the mean of that Poisson distribution? 2.5. Okay. That was the mean of the Poisson. Then, for x bar, what comes after mu?
Standard deviation.
For x bar, yes, sigma squared over n. Sigma squared is the variance. What's the variance of that distribution? Variance of the Poisson is the same as the mean, lambda, yeah. So that's sigma squared over n, which I don't know.
Yeah.
So the sample means are going to be distributed like that. Now, if I can link these two things here together, I am told that the probability that the sample mean is less than 2.025 is about 5%. That's writing that down in proper notation.
And then the amount.
I'd be thinking, should I put 5.0.052? Because that's
Stick with this.
No.
Okay, see, okay.
That's exactly 5%.
Yes.
That's not what it's
Okay, no. Keep with that number, and you might see where that comes from in a minute, but keep with that number for now. Okay. Right, now, it's a less than probability. That's fine. So we can go straight into phi stuff, phi notation. What will I start with inside my bracket?
2.025.
That number.
Minus 2.5.
Minus the mean. Yep.
Whatever. Sigma. Not sigma.
Square root.
Thingy. Standard deviation.
Square root of
Which is
2.5 over n.
You're saying all the right things, but so what actually am I going to write down here? What is the value of
2.5 over n.
2.5 over n is the variance? Yeah, I need to square root it. Square root of that goes there.
So the whole thing or just
Square root all of that.
all of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's my variance of that distribution.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a standard deviation that comes down here. All of that bit gets square rooted. And I know that equals 0.05. Yeah, to find out what n is, because that's inside a phi bracket, the next thing I need to do is anti-phi both sides. Well, anti-phi on the left is just writing out again without the phi at the front.
1 minus the 5.
No, it's minus 5.
And minus 5.
And then over here I need to anti-phi 0.05.
I never can remember if you put the minus in front.
Right, yeah, that's something small. If we're antifying something small, we said we minus antify something big. So we put a minus here and a 1 minus over there.
So,
Can I just write that down and then take your question?
Actually, no, I don't.
Okay. So antifying 0.95, and the further we go into this S2 course, you will just know what antify of 0.95 is. And it's one you can actually get from the table at the very bottom. 0.95 at the table at the very bottom, 1.645, and the minus sign in front of it. So now, if you put those two sides together and play around with that, you should be able to rearrange that and find out what n is.
it's 29.98.
You can have that as an intermediary step if you want. What have you got? 29 point? Yeah. Okay. So, okay, I think we can say that our sample size then, what are we going to say our sample size was? Because we can't have 29.98 sample
You
size.
had to round it up to 30.
Yeah, we'll say that our sample size will be 30 then. So sample size was 30. Okay. So that's finished one main section of this chapter. What we still have to address, which we won't address today, will be, hang on, what if we don't know what the population mean is, and if we don't know what the population standard deviation and variance are, which we've just been told by the great god of statistics who just told us. And you think, well, if he knows that, why can't I just tell us the answer to the questions? Pointless. But we'll deal with that issue next time. So right now, I've got a note here that we should be able to do exercise 4A. So, in our books, Billy just said it's the end of the lesson. Billy can't read the clock. 10 minutes. Go, Billy. Billy, that's on video. You naughty child. So, exercise 4A. Okay, exercise 4A, which in my book is on page 84. On page 84, okay? You should be able to do now those questions. We'll deal with what comes in the rest of that chapter next time. So we're now just going to spend some time, up until the bell goes,
Reflecting on what we've done.
doing some of those questions and at the same time reflecting on them. Yes.